Hi trainers and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. Today's video has actually been requested by my sister, who was in a situation recently whereby she was trying to find a brand new foundation. She actually was really overwhelmed by all of the options that were out there on the high street, and she really didn't know which one would be best suited for her. So she ended up going on YouTube and watching a bunch of videos, and she said to me, you know, it was really weird because I had to go on all these separate videos to have a look at all of the different brands, but there wasn't really a video that kind of reviewed a bunch of them all together. You could do that. And it was a really great idea. So after she bought a few foundations and found the one that she really liked, she donated all of the ones that she didn't like to me in order to make this video. So I've got a few that my sister have given me, and I've got a few that I already have. And today we are going to be reviewing high street foundations and seeing which one is the best in my humble opinion. The first foundation we're going to start with is the Revlon Colour Stay Foundation for combination and oily skin. This is one that my sister actually purchased, and the price for this is $12.99. So the product details then. So it's an oil control formula for a perfectly even velvet matte complexion. Colour stays true to skin all day long, even when your oil levels change. So it claims to be a long wear foundation that stays flawless all day. Smooth, perfect looking skin lasts all day without drying or caking. Formulated with salicylic acid. Salicylic acid. It's formulated with salicylic acid to help control oil and provide a poreless finish. Medium buildable coverage with a matte finish, and it also has SPF 15 protection as well, which is a nice bonus for anyone concerned about skincare. Me and my sister are pretty much the same skin colour, so there's no issue for us to donate each other foundations if we end up not liking them for ourselves. I'm going to pop this on now and we'll see how it applies. I take back what I said about me and my sister being able to swap foundations easily. Clearly this is not my shade colour. However, I will say that the application was really easy to do. The coverage is good, so my first impressions of this are good. I'm now going to wear this for a whole day. Then I will be doing a review to see how well it's lasted and if it's up to scratch. It's now 10 PM and I have been in this makeup since 1 o'clock today. Thinking about the level of coverage this foundation provides, I am perfectly happy with it. I think it's done a really good job. But I think what's also quite impressive is the fact that after work today, I went for a walk with my friend Sarah, and it's been snowing all day and it was still snowing when we went out walking. So actually, considering that, you know, I've had sort of snow splattered all over my face, it doesn't look worse than perhaps I thought it would. There is some loss of coverage on my chin area, but to be fair, that is kind of my fault because when I work, I sit like hunched up like a pretzel on my desk. And, you know, I'm always like sitting like this with my chin in my hand. So I think my chin has just rubbed against my hand and, you know, it's just kind of worn off because of that. As I said, I put this on around 1 o'clock today. And considering that I've been in it for 9 hours, I'm genuinely thrilled that my face is not currently an oil slick, because that's how I normally look at the end of the day, especially considering I've not touched up this makeup at all. It's great. I think that there's some oiliness just kind of around my chin area, around my T-zone, but that's where I get my worst spots with my skin. So I'm not surprised that that is kind of starting to show. Considering that this is the first foundation I'm trying for this video, I kind of feel like I've already jumped the shark, which is worrying, but I can't fault this foundation really. It has excellent oil control, which is what I really always want from a foundation. So if you're like me and that's something you're conscious of, I would recommend this product. Yeah, for the first day, I think we've had a really good success story here, and I rate this foundation. I probably should have come up with a rating system before I started shooting this, but let's say it's a solid 9 out of 10. I'm gonna get ready for bed now and take all my makeup off, and then tomorrow we will do it all again with a second foundation. The next foundation we're going to look at is the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation and concealer. I have this in the shade Warm Porcelain. The description on the Milani website is actually quite brief for this. It simply says 2-in-1 foundation and concealer, Conceal and perfect with this full coverage, long-lasting, multi-purpose based product. Choose from a wide range of shades to suit you and benefit from seamless and visible results. Combats the appearance of skin imperfections, and it's water resistant also. This is priced on the Milani website at £14.25. This is a bit harder to apply. It's much thicker and I can feel it dragging across my face as I'm moving my brush. It's finally all on, but my God, I had to work for it. I still feel like there's patches underneath my eyes that I haven't been able to bring the foundation up to cover. It was a lot of hard work and it does dry quite quickly, so you're really working against the clock to make sure you get the full coverage before it just stops being movable. Again, the colour wasn't great for me. This was one of my sister's actually. I wonder if it's going to dry down perhaps a slightly different colour. But let's wear it for the day and see how it fares. I've spent the day with the Milani foundation on, and I think in terms of my thoughts on it, it's definitely a middling foundation for me. So it says it's full coverage, and it certainly is. Like I can't argue against that. However, it's so full coverage that I kind of feel like I look like I'm wearing a mask, and I don't like that at all. I want my skin to look like it's got foundation on without looking like it's got foundation on, if that makes any sense whatsoever. For me, it's just too thick. It's just a bit too obvious and a bit too unnatural. So yes, it is full coverage, but it's not an effect that I particularly like. The benefit of it being so full coverage and it is so thick is that it does have a lot of lasting power. So if you look at my face, most of it is pretty much exactly how I said it earlier. The only thing is that I do have some loss of coverage around my nose, and that's just because I've been wiping my nose all day, because I think walking out in the snow yesterday I got a bit of a chill, so I've been feeling a bit poorly today. But unfortunately, yeah, I've just been like blowing my nose a lot, so I don't think any foundation would really stand up against it, but I think it's done a good job considering. In regards to the oil situation, there is quite a bit of oil on my forehead, around my T-zone, on my chin, so it's not great for that. However, it doesn't claim to be. It's not a specific oily skin foundation, which is fine, you know. But for me, I definitely would have used my face powder to touch up before shooting this video normally. Obviously, I wanted to show you the lasting effects of the foundation without any kind of touch-ups, but if I do touch my forehead now, it's like, it's tacky and I don't like it. Ugh. I can't deny that it is a true full coverage foundation, but I don't think it's great for oily skin. So if that is you, then perhaps look for another foundation. Marks out of 10 then, I think I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 6. It does have pros and cons. It certainly is full coverage, but it doesn't do much for oily skin. And although it isn't specifically for oily skin, it does say that it is a multi-purpose based product. So it does make me feel like it should do something for everyone, and it hasn't really done much for me, unfortunately. I'm gonna take off all this makeup and I'm gonna go get ready for bed. Tomorrow we are testing our third foundation, so stay tuned and see if it is any better than Milani was today. The next foundation we're gonna try is this one from MAC Cosmetics. This is the Studio Fix Fluid with SPF 15. Now, this is one of my foundations, and I actually went to the shop to get tested for my perfect shade in this range. Unfortunately, it was during that weird time between our two lockdowns. So whilst I could test the foundation, the assistant couldn't help me. And I think that was a real bad thing for me, because I just went for the lightest shade possible, which was the NW10. But I did also try the NW13 that they have, but I was too scared to go for the darker shade. And I thought to myself that going for the lighter one was the best option. However, again, as this is a worrying trend in this video, it's not really a good shade match for me, as you'll see when I pop this on in a second. This is the most expensive foundation in this video. It's priced at £27, but the thing is, you have to buy the pump as well. It doesn't actually come with the pump, and that's an additional £5 on top. The galling thing about buying the pump is that I've used this MAC foundation maybe about 3 times. However, after the 3 uses, the pump has now broken. The key claims and benefits then for this product: it has 24-hour wear, non-poring and refined skin, controls oil and shine for 6 hours. For all skin types, especially oily skin, stay true colour 24 hours, non-fading, streaking, caking, settling for 24 hours. Provides immediate and long-term moisture for 8 hours, sweat and humidity resistant, oil-free, and has the SPF 15 also. We'll pop it on now, but let me just show you how the pump is broken and how I now have to get the foundation out of the bottle. Putting the foundation on, there wasn't really any issues at all. I think it was a thinner formula than the Milani, so it made it a lot easier to apply with my brush. You can also see where it's gathered around my eyelids if I close them. Off to a rocky start, but let's see how it fares for the rest of the day. It has been a busy day today. I had my very first Japanese online tutor session and it was really fun. But I am here not to talk about that, but to talk about the MAC foundation that I've been wearing all day. So this formula is definitely less thick than the Milani foundation that I was wearing yesterday, which is definitely preferable for me. However, what I have noticed is that it has settled in the fine lines underneath my eyes, which makes them much more obvious than they normally would be. And to be quite honest with you, I do not want to be faced with my own mortality every time I look in the mirror. I don't want to have to battle with that. So it's not great because, you know, you want the foundation to be able to cover up your sins and not, you know, highlight them. In terms of coverage, it has held up really well on my face. I'm sure you can see there is again some loss of coverage around my nose and a little bit on my chin area, but in all other areas of my face, it has done well, so I give it props for that. In regards to the oil control, this is a bit baffling to me. So on the website, like we discussed earlier, it says that it's good for all skin types, but especially for oily skin. But it also says that it only controls oil for up to 6 hours. So it's a bit of a weird one because it's kind of like, well, what happens after 6 hours? For me, apparently the floodgates just opened because there is so much oil on my forehead. I'm sure you can see it whilst I'm here under the light. And there is also oil kind of down the side of my nose. So I wear glasses all day whilst I'm working on my laptop. And like, unfortunately, my glasses have been kind of slipping down my nose whilst I've been wearing them because of like how much oil has accumulated underneath them, which is kind of gross, but it's just, you know, I'm giving you an honest review. So in terms of oil control, it's not great, but it is a bit strange because it claims to be really good for oil control. So yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really live up to how it's being sold on the MAC website. Considering that this is a MAC product, I did actually expect a much better performance. Obviously, they're a huge name in the makeup industry and it was £26, it's quite expensive. So I am disappointed that it hasn't performed better. In all honesty, I would not buy this foundation again. It is quite pricey and the performance just wasn't what I expected it to be, as I said. So it was an expensive mistake, but at least I know now that this just isn't the foundation for me. Today's foundation is by Maybelline and it's from their Fit Me range. This is in the shade 102, which is Fair Ivory. The benefits they list on the website are as follows. Lightweight matte liquid foundation, oil-free, perfect for normal combination and oily skin, available in 40 shades, flexible micro powders to help blur the appearance of pores, and a natural finish. Skin looks fresh, not cakey or dry. There's some commas missing from this description, can I just point out? It's not my inability to read properly. This is a foundation from my personal collection, so when I put it on, hopefully it won't look like I've got a death mask on again. The foundation has spread really well. The coverage is very even. The colour, I think you'll agree, is a much better match for me than perhaps some of the previous ones I've tried. I am happy with how this is applying. I think it's easy and it also looks great so far. I've not had to work hard to get this on, which is a fantastic start. We're going to wear this for the whole day and then see how it comes out at the end. I did my makeup today to look like the live stream from the Final Fantasy series because I have this awesome Final Fantasy t-shirt that I'm wearing today. I am really sorry because as I was discussing the MAC foundation yesterday, my camera battery died, so it just cut me off mid-sentence. I think all that was left to say was just that I was going to give it a 4 out of 10 for its performance. But if there was more to say, then that's future editing Heather's problem and not mine right now. We're gonna focus now on the Maybelline foundation that I'm testing today. And overall, I'm actually really happy with the performance of this foundation. I think it provides a really good level of coverage as well as managing to remain very natural looking, which is something that I've mentioned previously on the video that I quite like in my foundations. There is a loss of coverage around like my nostrils. I do have to say though, with the coverage on the chin, I think this is the best it's actually looked this week at the end of the day. So I have been working all day, same as usual. I've had my head in my hands, but the loss of coverage on the chin doesn't seem to be as bad. In fact, I think you can only sort of tell around this area. I've been picking some spots, unfortunately. With the oil control, it has done very well. As usual, there is some oil around my T-zone just around here, but there's no oil on my chin at all, which is fantastic. I really do like this foundation and I would definitely look to use it regularly again. I think it's a great option for people with oily skin. The coverage is great, it sits well on the skin and it controls the oil. So I'd actually also give this foundation a strong 9 out of 10. So it's tying with Revlon at the moment. The last foundation that we'll be using for this video is the foundation that I've been wearing for probably the last 2 years or so. So this is the NO7 Stay Perfect foundation and I have this in the shade Porcelain. The reason why I've stuck with this foundation for so long is although it's not been the best to help with my oily skin, I had a really good experience when I went into Boots to get colour matched. The lady that helped me was so lovely and so kind that I bought my first bottle there and then after I'd been colour matched, and I've just been using it ever since. We'll see how it stacks up against the others I've already reviewed so far. So from the Boots website, this is how they describe this foundation. Life-proof foundation for a naturally flawless complexion with super staying power, uniquely matched to your skin tone using No7 Stay Perfect. This comfortable foundation feels lightweight and breathable and gives an even-toned, beautifully smooth complexion that looks and feels fresh all day long. It can be relied upon to stay perfect, weatherproof and transfer-proof. It won't cake or flake on dry skin, nor slide or shine on oily skin. Up to 24 hours wear for non-stop complexion perfection. It also has SPF 15, it's hypoallergenic and they have it in 25 skin true shades. I really have to clean this brush. I do find with this foundation when I'm popping it on that I always need more than I think I'm going to need. This applies fine. I think that one of the issues I have noticed is that this also settles into my fine lines. So I have them under my eyes and on my forehead especially. And I think it does have a tendency to emphasize those, which is unfortunate. I think we can agree this is probably the best colour match as well. The last thing we need to do now is just see how it wears throughout the day. Konbanwa! I have just been studying some Japanese, but now it is time to talk about the No7 foundation. I want to start by talking about the coverage because, to be quite honest, I didn't realise, despite using this foundation for a very long time, that the coverage on this isn't fantastic. It's quite sheer, having used the other foundations throughout the week. And that surprised me because I thought I was getting really good coverage out of this, but it's not as good as I thought it was. With the oil control, it's just the usual problematic area. So on my forehead just here, my chin, there's a smidge of oil on there, but otherwise it has done pretty well. The disappointing thing about that though is that in its description on the website, it does say that it won't shine on oily skin, which it clearly is doing on my forehead right now. As I said, I have used this foundation for a really, really long time, and I wouldn't have continued to use it for that length of time if I hadn't been happy with how it had performed. I think, like I said, just having now been exposed to these other foundations, I've got different options and I've been able to compare it, and unfortunately I have found it somewhat lacking. I'm gonna give this a 7 for number 7 because it's not a bad foundation, it's just that it's not my favourite any longer, and I think there are better options out there. Those are all of the foundations that I was looking to try out for everyone, and now I'm gonna pass over to future Heather to wrap this video up for us. Oh, thanks past Heather. That's so funny. Well, she's a great girl, but she did neglect to mention the prices of the last 2 foundations. So the number 7 foundation was £15 and the Maybelline foundation was £5.99, both from the Boots website. So we are all done with those foundations, and we came out with Maybelline and Revlon tying with a strong 9 out of 10. I think doing this video was actually super helpful for me because it's exposed me to brands that I've never actually used before, but also helped me to reassess the foundations that I am currently using and really thinking about what I like and what I don't like about them. I really hope that the video has been helpful to you as well. Let me know in the comments below what foundation you're currently using and what you like so much about it. Please also do like and subscribe. I am currently sitting at 92 subscribers, which may not seem like a lot, but it's something that I'm so proud of and I'm so happy about. And I'm actually going to be hosting a little giveaway at 100 subscribers. So if you haven't subbed to the channel already, please do so, because you may be in with a chance of winning a little prize that I will reveal when I hit those 100 subscribers. You can also follow me on Instagram. I have my username down below. There are some looks that I post on Instagram that I don't reference here on YouTube, but as I was filming this video, which has been filmed over the course of about 2 weeks at this point, I did actually receive my Animal Crossing Colourpop collection, and I'm going to be doing some Animal Crossing inspired makeup looks on Instagram over the next couple of days. So if that's something that you're interested in, please do go and check me out on Instagram as well. As always though, do stay safe, have a fantastic day, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!